go.
I go to floor fitness on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays.
Watch one hand as it...
Tai Chi on Monday, Thursdays, and Saturdays.
One hand receives the...
Seated movement Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays.
Straight back.
Strength training Mondays and Thursdays. That's $14 a week. That's what I do for a hobby.
88-year-old Ruth Reeser's health is her hobby. Just 3 years ago, after spending years caring for her husband and becoming dependent on a walker, Ruth had to, in her own words, reinvent herself.
Push-up plank position.
By the spring of 2014, Ruth had transformed herself, and the walker was long gone.
And the next one, of course, is our elbow plank.
What seemed incredible 6 months ago has become almost routine for Ruth in wellness manager Jeff Finer's fitness classes.
Up in push-up plank.
Planks are now a starting point. Ruth moves from those to these crab walks, to mountain climbers, to something called bird dog extensions that test her strength and balance even further. Some of this growth comes from hard work. Some comes from a setback May 6th in a class just like this.
I fell while I was exercising.
She was on the floor.
Got up in a hurry.
Without her chair.
Moved too fast.
And caught her foot on the mat.
And went down.
The fall left Ruth with a broken hip, but there was only one word to describe her recovery.
Startling. Nobody, I mean, I've never seen anything like it.
I was in the hospital 2 days, and they decided they couldn't keep me anymore. Put me in rehab for 4 days. Then they decided they couldn't keep me there anymore.
You were back home in 6 days?
Yes. And I had I have a replacement hip. They said it was a new record. It's because I had all these exercise programs before, I'm sure. Build up my muscles and bones.
I think that's a body, mind, spirit question too, you know. I think that Ruth is engaged, extremely engaged. Her general conditioning is really, really high. So she can sustain a trauma like that and come back from it. She is able to physically withstand that, spiritually withstand that. She wanted back in that class before I wanted her back. I was uncomfortable with her being there. But I didn't argue with her doctors, and we just set some parameters. When Ruth fell, there were several elements in that fall that I know that I can pull out, and I know that those are improvements that I need to make in my program, in my teaching. These are some of the things that Ruth has helped, has lit a fire under me. So that was part of her falling process in that moment, in that fall. I took that home and thought, okay, you know, what do we do about that? And as you saw in the floor class this time, that move of getting up from the floor is broken into 3 moves. 3 very centering stages, you know. Find your feet. Find your base. Back to your favorite knee. Find your breath. Catch your breath. Find your strength. Up you go. These are all terms that came about as a result of that incident. Once we have that building block in place, then you have a foundation to work with. You can then throw a lot more progression. Then you can really progress.
Ruth isn't the only one progressing.
Oh my gosh, there is a room full of Ruths. There is actually more than a room full of Ruths. When you give the body what it truly wants, when you cut through the fat and you give the body the movements it's designed to do, it is designed to work that way. When you make those kinds of breakthroughs, you will see those kinds of results.
It just adds things as we go along. We said we'll add this to this, and then we'll do something else, and then we'll come back, and the next time through we'll keep on doing it.
I've got 2 bad legs, polio and spinal stenosis, and I need something to keep them going.
Again, let them go. And you keep the person moving. You keep them moving for us. The main goal is to target it for them in the way that they need. So it's functional movements, meaning like what they really need to navigate the world.
The future's here now, so I'm taking advantage of it.